Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod. That would have been Blue Suede Shoes by Carl Perkins. That was playing when the gang went to the fraternity party in the house that has an upstairs, I don't know, museum exhibit to Mr. Sinclair's professional activities. That makes no fucking sense.
Nope.
I am Jeff, and do we have to bring journalistic ethics and professional integrity into everything we do?
Yes.
Joining me on the other end of the internet, my host.
I'm Leslie, and I knew them all. Nothing lasts forever.
They're all gone now. Everybody's dead.
Want a hamburger? The same person.
Yeah. Meat poisoning. Probably from some other meat restaurant.
Yeah, it wasn't the Mega Burger that killed him.
No, it wasn't. The Mega Burger is life-sustaining. And let's not forget it. This week, guys, we are doing Season 2, Episode 24, The Pit and the Pendulum. Original air date of March 19th, 1992. So we are out of sweeps and into some nonsense. So,
okay.
You know, there's no more high things that have to happen. It's no more big things that have to happen this week. It's just that everybody has to get all worked up, and then nothing happens is what has to happen this week.
We can kind of let the craziest, even though this isn't the craziest, but we can let the errant plot lines run free.
Yeah. This was just let's lock it down. I mean, the only mention of anything happening external is that Jackie's pregnant, right? Because Kelly says something about her craving spinach or something.
What a weirdo.
Well, you know, Jackie's Jackie. At least she's not craving Coke.
That's an LA craving if I ever heard one. I'm
spinach?
Craving spinach. But 90s version, because now it would be kale.
Right, kale, or just going to Sweet Greens or whatever. So, yeah, all right. So what happens in this episode is that Peach Pit ain't doing so good. The guys are there on some night of the week playing hockey with nets, very plastic dishware.
Still rude. I thought the audacity. He's right there.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't be doing that. But the clinking of those things was made by plastic. And the Peach Pit is not that low rent. It does not have plastic. The Peach Pit is a place, I guarantee, where you go and it's a saucer and it's a cup and it's got a weight to it. It's a nice. Yeah. They're using ceramics in the Peach Pit. Like, this is real shit, not plastic hockey pucks or whatever the guys are playing with there. So business is bad. And Brandon, Nat's like snippy at everybody because it's 2 weeks in a row. Business was bad. And then he brought in a karaoke machine because this recession. Was there a recession in 1992?
Okay, great. I was going to ask. It
totally was.
Okay.
Yeah, there very much was. It's a large part of the reason why Bill Clinton was elected over George Bush.
Oh, okay.
Because like a year previous, like during and right after the Gulf War, Bush's approval ratings were like in the 70 percentile. Like, he was very popular. And then the economy took a dump and he became very unpopular, and he went back on his read my lips, no new taxes pledge from the campaign, and he got hung for it. And Clinton came in with James Carville's mantra, it's the economy, stupid. And it's the economy, stupid. Hammer the economy. Talk about the economy. And that's what got Clinton elected. So very much was a recession happening in 1992.
Okay.
Taking it out on the Peach Pit, but not on Sinclair Properties Incorporated Limited or whatever the name of that company was.
Who cares?
Because they were, well, you know what? Maybe it did. Maybe the recession killed them in the end. because they lost their funding and didn't get to make High Point Center. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are.
Peach Pit's in dire straits, and Brandon, gets chewed out by Nat, rightfully so, because Brandon's being a shithead. First, he's like playing hockey with Nat's dishes, and then he like tries to tell Nat that they need new ketchup or mustard, which he shouldn't do. Nat knows, God damn it, he knows what's going on. Does he have to do everything himself?
Thanks, Brandon. It's not like I've been running this place
for 20 years. Ever since my dad, Sal, God bless his soul, who used to feed Natalie Wood and who used to give...
He got super Italian this episode.
He did. Paisan, fire up the grill.
Fakakta.
Yeah, he said fakakta in this episode. And so then Brandon goes home, and there's yet another gathering in the Walsh living room. And I think what we've learned at this point is when there's too many people in the Walsh living room, bad shit happens. Either you end up with a security patrol and the Ashes having to like leave town or whatever happens to them after that episode, because who the fuck knows. Or you end up with a huge condom debate. And Jackie gets pregnant. Come see, come saw, little bug. Or you end up trying to drive the Peach Pit out of business with your teen focus group nonsense.
So the Walsh family room is where trouble happens. Because there was a slumber party too.
It's too many people in that room. I think you can probably have 5 or 6, maybe.
Okay,
before
maybe
shit hits the fan. Because we've seen Jim and Cindy and Brandon and Brenda and Dylan and maybe Andrea. We've seen 6, maybe 7 people can be there. You get more than that, and nothing good happens.
Yeah.
It's sad. And what bad happens here is that Marcy Sinclair, daughter of Mr. Sinclair? I keep forgetting his first name.
Dixon St.
Dixon St. Clair. The real estate magnate, I suppose, or developer. I don't know exactly what his job.
Mr. Dunder, I believe, from The Office.
Oh, is he Mr. Dunder?
I think he's Mr. Dunder or he's Mifflin. I can't. One of them killed themselves.
Is he the one that killed himself or the other one?
No, he just comes in, and it's when Michael Scott is making a commentary on like ageism is a problem, except then of course he demonstrates that he's ageist because he's like, okay, you're just waxing poetic about nothing.
Right. Nice. God bless Michael Scott.
Yep.
And so the gang does teen surveys to see what people want in a new mall called High Point Center. And I wrote down the things that they want. What was that?
I said, I want a limited 2 and I want a bookstore.
Okay, there you go. Well, here's what Andrea wants. Noise abatement and traffic control. David wants a music store and a coffee house. Donna wants high-end clothing at discount prices and a coffee house. Steve wants a Ferrari dealership, a bowling alley, a batting cage, an IMAX theater, a virtual reality arcade, and a coffee shop. So Brandon wants an ice rink, he said, and probably a coffee shop. Everybody seems to want a coffee shop. So
they want Central Park.
Yeah, they do. So they polled all the teenagers, and the teenagers said, you know what we'd like in the mall? Stuff that's in every mall.
Yeah. Duh.
I mean, bowling alleys aren't in every mall, but bowling alleys are like mall attached, mall adjacent sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely music stores, coffee shops, high-end clothing at discount prices. I mean, come on. Ferrari dealership, a little unrealistic.
No. Yeah.
You know, like it's a mall. So, I don't know, maybe like a Hyundai dealership. But I think Ferrari's a little too high-end. IMAX
theater, totally fair.
Yep, happened. I mean, it was rarer in 92 than it is now to have an IMAX in the movie in your mall, but plenty of them. Like, not a problem. virtual reality arcades. I mean, you can get an arcade with a virtual reality game or two in any mall.
Sure.
So I don't know, man. These kids and they're driving what's happening because it like this. They did this survey, and a week later, there are plans and diagrams containing everything that everybody wanted in this most glorious of inventions, the mall. And all they needed to do was clear town council, city council approval or whatever. But then Brandon finds out where it's going to be built, which nobody asked before.
Fuck no.
That's right. And it's going to take, they're going to have to bulldoze the Peach Pit, which is a problem for everybody, even though like there's no business happening there. And like the last 2 times Steve has been there, he complained about how boring it was there. Like he was super like irritated at the karaoke people. And then the next week when there's nobody there and they can play coaster hockey, he doesn't think that's fun either.
Okay, I feel like before Brandon and Brenda, the only people from the gang who frequented the Peach Pit was maybe Dylan.
And Donna, because Sal used to give her free cookies.
Sure, because Felice probably isn't feeding Donna.
No, probably not.
No, she's definitely a mother who's like, your beauty and skinniness reflects on how good of a mother I am, so swats.
That's right. No food for you.
But yeah, like the rest of them seem too bougie to have ever frequented that place.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve and Kelly don't strike me as diner goers.
Maybe Andrea. But again, she's out of district, so like she probably needs to get back and forth from home a lot and can't really hang around the area. But you know, now that she's lusting for Brandon,
constantly,
girl.
forever. Yeah. But they love it now. It's important to them now.
Yes.
Which, you know, as someone who just watched their favorite college restaurant close forever, I get it. R.I.P. The Irish Lion.
R.I.P.
So I get it. You don't want this place that's important to you to go out of business. So Brandon crawls all the way up Jim's ass about it. And Jim is like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Shut up. Like, stay out of it, Brandon. You're fucking up my rotation here. I got work to do. Sinclair here is I'm in on the ground floor. This might be plastic, son. Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to get in on I don't understand how Jim gets in on the ground floor of anything, being the accountant at the firm they hired to do the money part of the deal. Whatever. And I really don't understand.
He's a congenial guy.
Oh, Jim's a nice guy. Everybody likes Jim. But how does Brandon get on the ground floor? Which Marcy tells him he's going to
sweeping his way to the top.
I guess. But like, doing what? Like, doing what job? Like, being a grump?
Being a greeter.
Yeah, I stand at he's too young to be a Walmart greeter. But yeah, I don't know. Like, giving people cool friendship bracelets or something. That's something he could do. Make friends with them all. I don't get it. I don't understand what Brandon's role here is in High Point Center moving forward. Except for to just try to scuttle the whole fucking thing. Because like, he goes to Jim, and Jim's like, Brandon, fucking stay out of this shit. None of your business. And Brandon then goes to, like, he doesn't tell Nat, but he goes to the city council meeting and lectures. This is like a Brandon tour de force. Because Brandon usually lectures adults one-on-one. He got to yell at an entire room of adults. And in order to do that, he dressed the part. He wore the big old red jacket that he wore to the MI Blue frat party.
Yeah.
Go ahead. If you look like you had a thing.
No, I did, because I just realized, did you ever see the Iron Lady?
No. I don't think I did.
There's a I finally got you on
did.
one.
You've gotten me on some before.
That wasn't High School Musical.
I didn't see Harvard.
That's true. There's a moment, so most of the movie, Meryl Streep as Maggie Thatcher is wearing blue, you know, genial color, it makes me look nice. And then all of a sudden, maybe halfway through, Doesn't matter. She comes in at one point in this burgundy suit, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yep. She's about to let it rip.
Yep.
And I just realized that's Brandon in this. He came in with that burgundy and said, I'm about to fuck shit up.
Yes, but like, it's weird that he went with the Maggie Thatcher of it all, because she was not.
He's so not Maggie.
No, she was not out there fighting for the little guy. And that's what Brandon's trying to do. He's trying to preserve our history.
He's just getting mad because he can. And he's like, well, I'm a teenager. People expect me to be mad. I'll be mad about important stuff. But he doesn't bother to ask anyone any questions to understand, why are you letting this happen? Why are you making this choice?
Yeah. Brandon doesn't understand shit. And he lectures everybody excitedly. And of course, Jim is like, why do you hate me? And then he finds out Nat accepted the offer. They sold out anyway. But like, Nat's ship came in. Whatever comes in, that's what came in for Nat. Except for then, like, later he shows the offer to Jim and is like, you lowballed him. Why'd you lowball him? And they're like,
how Jim didn't get in trouble for that, I don't know.
That's a very fair point. I don't know what Jim is doing, providing counsel to anybody. He's not a lawyer, but no. Jim is just, I don't know. I think that's almost I think we're almost ready for what this episode is really about, and I think we'll start there. But the last thing that happens is that the funding falls through, and that High Point Center is not going to be built. The Peach Pod is saved. Willie, fire up the grill. You got it, Nat. And everything is back to where it was before the episode started. So that's fun. Except for that, like, lots of people got their feelings hurt.
Truly, how there's not a growing rift between Brandon and Jim is beyond me. Like, I couldn't even say what to my parents without getting, don't you talk to me?
Right, exactly.
Just said what?
Yeah. In the shittiest tone you've ever heard.
I know. Like, I get it now.
You just said what in a tone that says, why are you a cunt? But
yes,
you did. I mean, you were a teenager.
I was.
All right. So here's one thing I think this episode is really about. Stay out of it. Just fucking stay out of it. Like, everybody, just stay out of it. Like, Brandon just sticks his shit into here. And like, he gets real upset because, like, he expects Nat to do something. Nat is upset that Brandon is upset. Jim is upset that Brandon is trying to murder his career. Yeah. And then Jim reads the offer that Nat got. Fucking stay out of it. Everybody, just stay out of it. None of your business. You're not going to help. You're just making people upset.
I don't know why Jim at one point didn't go, like, I see where your passion is coming from, Brandon, but, like, do you like this house? Do you like going to school with your friends in a good school district? Do you like having money for food? Like, you don't have to work. That's another thing. If I was Nat and I had a part-time asshole teenager and an adult who has things to pay for, you know, and actually needs this job, why wouldn't I be like, you know what? I can't give you a promotion, but you know what I can do? Get rid of that asshole kid who's going to be fine no matter what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, Nat's thinking about this all wrong. Nat's like, I can fuck around with your hours, Brandon. You're not a problem. It's Willie I'm worried about because I can't afford Willie.
Yes, you can. You just don't want to.
You just get rid of Brandon. But Nat wants to because Nat's a good guy. Nat doesn't want to get rid of anybody. This is his family.
Thank God.
Yeah. So kind of stay out of it. Because what because in this episode, Brandon is Indiana Jones.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so this is, did you ever watch the show The Big Bang Theory?
No.
We watched pretty much the whole run of it. We kind of faded at the end. But the beginning of it, like the first, I don't know, few seasons are legitimately pretty funny. Like,
okay.
Good jokes, good rhythm, like it's a good show. As with all sitcoms, like if it goes too long, it goes too long, and that's kind of what happens. But there's a thing in here where Sheldon shows I can't remember who it's either one of the two guys shows their girlfriend Indiana Jones because they love it because it's
of
awesome.
course.
And she's like, she watches and she's like, that was really good except for the one major problem with it. And they're like, no such thing. And she said, yeah, nothing he does matters.
Yeah.
Nothing that the protagonist does in Raiders of the Lost Ark influences the ending at all. Right? Like he finds the Ark, but they would have found it eventually. Like if he hadn't shown up and gotten the headpiece to the Staff of Ra, they would have gotten the headpiece to the Staff of Ra, taken it to the Well of the Souls, and found where the Ark was buried. So he doesn't stop them from like they would have found the Ark anyway, even if he hadn't been involved. Then he gets the Ark, they steal it. So he doesn't stop them from getting the Ark. And then they open it, which they always would have done. And they all die. So, sorry, spoilers for Raiders of the Lost Ark, guys. So nothing Indiana Jones does actually impacts what happens in the movie. It all would have happened without him. And she's right. Like that is correct. That's what happens in that movie. I'd never noticed it either. But
of course not.
True. And that's what goes on here with Brandon. There's
a hot guy with a whip. Like, why am I not interested in this?
That's right. I'm going to watch that. But there's nothing Brandon does that impacts the outcome of this. He just upsets everybody.
Yeah. He says some awful shit. He forces Brenda, not really, but like in a way, low-key forces Brenda to choose loyalties. And like, I think it's so horrible that, because I was a kid who was like, no, obviously my loyalties would be to my sibling, even though I did not feel it reciprocated. But, whatever. We're cool now.
I get it.
Because I'm an adult and I can make my own choices.
That's right. Doing it right now.
Yeah.
Talking about 90210 on a Sunday morning.
It's
like a normal person.
Exactly.
Eat it. So, yeah. So just doesn't like this survey was going to happen whether Brandon was involved. Right? Mm-hmm. Whether Jim brought this whole ruinous calamity to his living room or not, that was still going to happen. Brandon suggests an ice skating rink, and Marcy's like, "Yeah, you and everybody else." Like, so that like they don't even get the ice skating rink because of Brandon. He points out something that was already known to anyone who paid attention, which is that this was going to be built on over the top of the Peach Pit. He doesn't tell Nat. Nat gets informed the way that he's supposed to get informed. Brandon doesn't change anything when he stands up and yells at the people in the town council.
Nope.
Except for making Jim upset. He didn't get Jim fired. He just pisses Jim off. And Nat still takes the deal, no matter what Brandon's up to. The deal's still a lowball deal.
Yeah.
And it still falls through because of the money. Nothing Brandon did mattered at all in this episode.
No.
Except he upset people. So maybe stay out of it.
Yeah, I'm torn on what I think this episode is about, because I wrote down a lot of like things versus other things. I wrote down this is teen ideals versus adult reality. Because I think we all have this image, like, when we're young, I'm going to be this so that I can make changes and be amazing. And it's like,
sure.
Yes, of course. And then when you become an adult, you realize, oh, it's a lot more complicated and nuanced than that.
Right.
And you can't explain that to a kid or to a young adult because they don't want to hear it or they can't comprehend it. Not because they're dumb, they're not. They're just inexperienced. I also wrote down malls versus local business.
So 100%, I wrote down motherfucking mall is one of the things that this episode is about.
Which, like, we'll get to that in Nostalgia Corner. Yeah, I'm gonna.
But I do think that that's what this is about. I mean, I do think that there is a big guy stepping on the little guy, Walmart putting the local mom and pop store out of business. Like it's got all this stuff crammed into it about like preserving the history of Los Angeles and fighting for small businesses over these massive mall things. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's.
If only we'd known a bigger monster was coming.
Well, yeah, no shit. Wait a minute, you can have a mall, but without like the people or the interactions or the physical space.
Yeah.
We can mail you shit? Ooh. Yeah, this was oddly prescient. Like,
yeah.
The mall ended up being a bad business idea, and that's why it didn't happen. And 20 years later, most of the malls are dead, and we're 10 years beyond that.
But now we've got some beautiful photography of nature taking over malls, and I love it. I'm here for it. Yeah, again, we'll touch more on that, but
excellent.
Yeah. I feel like there was a bit of an architecture versus agriculture in this too. Like, this is all David versus Goliath this whole time, except no one is asking for David to do anything.
Right. Yeah. It's just cool if Goliath comes through.
Yeah.
Because he's a coffee bar.
Yes. And my last one that I wrote down was morals versus goals. I don't know if that one fits as well. Because, like, you have Brandon's morals, which are just, his morals are just, every adult is wrong. They must learn from me because I know everything.
Yeah.
What Cindy and Jim, whatever you said to him as a child, can you say to me as an adult? Because I want that level of confidence. Seriously, I'm going to use my powers for good and not evil like Brandon, but
He's trying. He's trying to use his powers for good here.
Oof. Okay.
But yeah.
But then you have, Jim and Nat's goals are just, I want a life. I want my job to work out. I'm fine with this job. I want to keep making money and keep doing well with this job. And unfortunately, sometimes keeping a thing you want in your life doesn't always mean like following your teenage morals or your childhood morals,
No, totally. And like, if we didn't know that malls collapse 20 years down the road, what Jim is telling Brandon about what Nat is being offered is right. That's good. That's it's fine. Like, here's enough money that you're going to be able to survive until the mall is built. And then you got a lease in the mall prime location, same exact store, basically. It's just the building itself is being subsumed inside of another building, but you still get to have your diner with foot traffic because people are walking back, like, it's not a terrible deal for Nat if he hangs around and High Point Center, goes on.
He basically becomes Johnny Rockets at that point.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I think Johnny Rockets trying to be the Peach Pit, like, real talk. But
I've never even been to one. I've heard it's good, or at least my mom said it's good. So
yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's it's diner food. It's fine. It's good. It's burgers and milkshakes and stuff. And I'm never going to say a bad thing about burgers and milkshakes. So yeah, Johnny Rockets is pretty good. But you know, it wants to be. It's not the Peach Pit because nothing is because they don't have the motherfucking Mega Burger.
I just want their breakfast. Their breakfast sounds really good.
Yeah. So I've made Mega Burgers.
Nice.
Because they give you the recipe here. Did it for the series finale.
Oh.
Yep, we hosted a little party for the series finale, which also happened to be my friend Sam's birthday. So now his birthday every year is just the anniversary of when 90210 went off the air, which he loves.
Wow.
Yep. I was like, happy anniversary of May 17th, 2000. 2000? Yeah, 2000. When your birthday was lost forever. So, yep. So I made Mega Burgers there, and I got the recipe from this episode. Went back, rewound, even the Marilyn Monroe Swiss cheese part. Got to make sure got to make them right if you're going to make them. So, yeah,
Swiss
Mega Burgers
are
my good.
Favorite, but okay.
It's all part of. I mean, you could always say no. You could always say hold the Swiss cheese, but then is it really a Mega Burger?
No, I don't know. I just find Swiss cheese to be so bland.
Oh, really? Swiss cheese is good. Here's where Swiss cheese isn't bland. You take Triscuits and you put Swiss cheese on them and you stick them in the microwave for about 30 seconds. It's really good, but it stinks like dead feet. And, well, like, play this. Ask my brother about it. He'll tell you how much he hates it just on sensory overload. But man, Swiss cheese on Triscuits is yummy. So it's not bland in the least.
I love a random excuse to message Michael.
Tell me about Swiss cheese and Triscuits. And he will come back at you like someone just tried to make Nat sell the Peach Pit.
He'll come back at me like you with little Einsteins.
Oh my God. Oh, so here's what's great about that. I got a text last night from Teresa from work, and she was listening to the episode, and she said, I have only heard you go off twice, and the second time was about little Einstein. That was hilarious.
Awesome.
I was like, fuck that show. I hate that show. Unless Teresa, I didn't know what she was like inviting into her life. But yeah. And then, you know what's great about that is like last week I saw the Facebook memory of the thing that I posted about Little Einstein when I watched the Quincy episode with the Jibba Jabba.
Yeah.
It was just like dooba doo dooba doo dooba doo. And I was mad about it like 11 years ago, and I posted on. And so every year I get reminded about Quincy and the Jibba Jabba episode. Stupid bullshit.
And that is why Facebook is a problem, because it's just trying to make us angry about the wrong things.
Okay. That's not the wrong thing. That's not the wrong thing to get angry about. That is 100% the correct thing to get angry about.
Okay. There are better things to get mad about, though.
Nope, disagree.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
That is the single most valid complaint anyone could have in the entire world is the episode where Quincy went jibba jabba the whole time.
I'm not going to keep poking this bear.
I've just decided that it's not ridiculous that I hate this show so much. I'm just going to lean in.
I know I have something or things like that. I just can't think of what they are this morning. So.
Chris Suter.
Well, I'm sure. Oh my God. Damn it. No, you know what else it is? Actually, no, we won't go into that. I'm sure it'll come up organically on its own at some point. I don't need to go on.
You don't need to. You know what we haven't talked about is the frat party.
Okay. And how weird it was?
It was such a weird frat party. Yeah. So it's a blue themed frat party where everyone wears blue except for Brandon, and they even hang Picasso works on the wall, and the lighting is all blue tint. Like they spent a lot of money, this fraternity, on this party, which is I think unrealistic, but whatever. Everyone there is dressed very fancy, very clean. Yeah.
The MC, whoever he's supposed to be, is on something because he's making some choices.
Well, I mean, that's just because you didn't hear the real music.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Like in the real episode, they play Blue Suede Shoes when they get to the party, and
is that him attempting to be Elvis?
Who?
Walter or Walton Goggins' character?
Oh,
that's who I mean is acting weird.
Oh, he is super weird. Yeah. No, he's acting super weird. But he's not the DJ. He's just a guy.
Oh,
he's Mike Pushin, rhymes with cushion. Yeah. So that's the other thing. Walton Goggins is in this, and this is one of his early roles. And Walton Goggins is great. Like, not in this. This thing is some kind of something going on in this frat party. But
I will be memorable.
Yeah, no, he totally is. Like, but he's great in Justified. He's great in Vice Principals. He's great in what's the other thing that he did recently? Not the one without the nose. I haven't seen that. Fallout. I haven't seen that. I'm totally. Oh, The Shield is the other thing he did that he's so great.
Oh, okay.
He's really good. And he might be the key to our Peach Pit After Dark episode this week.
Absolutely.
Which would be kind of fun because I really like him. But he's the craziest person at a really weird party.
Yeah. Yeah. He is the person you first meet when you walk into an immersive play experience.
Oh,
like he's perfect for that job.
Yeah,
you know, like come into the theater,
right? Like the person who walks up to you and is like starts talking to you in the middle of a sentence because that's the vibe of the thing.
Vibe of the thing, yeah.
It's just the vibe of the thing. But like either the big come into the theater, welcome, or the chair just didn't fit in the room, and I told him that. And he's over there. Look at him at the other side of the room. He's over there telling that person how nice the chair is. Whatever. I don't know.
Brilliant. I love
writing and acting. That was me. Yep. I think we should applaud my improv theater skills.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know what that story's about, but there's a chair involved and a disagreement about the chair.
It started with a chair.
It always does. King of the castle. King of the castle. I have a chair. That's from Borat. So, why does Brandon hate Jim's career? Oh, you know what? Let's not do that yet because we didn't finish with the frat party. We got distracted with all this.
Oh, yes.
All this chair talk. So it's an oddly formal frat party. It's as weird, but more stylized than the party where Brandon got drunk on the Mucho Marvelous Mango Margaritas and crashed Mondale. Yes. Remember how weird I thought that party was? This party's weirder than that.
Oh, yeah.
And not just because...
A lot of weird denim outfits.
Yeah. And, but like, I was thinking about like, okay, like when your kid has something at school and it's like wear green day, it's like a St. Patrick's Day, whatever. You go digging for like the one item of green clothing that you own. And it's like, it's a 90% white shirt with like a green stripe over on the shoulder. And you're like, fucking counts. And that's true. Like if it's like whatever theme the school is doing, whatever theme the party you're going to is, like most of the time you're lucky if you got one thing that fits and works for that situation.
Yeah.
Everyone in this party had closets full of super fancy blue clothes.
Or the money to go out and get super fancy blue clothes. Right.
That's true. But also, where do they sell these super fancy blue clothes? Like all of this shit?
Wait, what is that? Maybe it's Seal?
I don't know. I don't know what Seal is, but
Wet Seal. That's what it's called.
Wet Seal? Okay.
There's a store called Wet Seal. They totally bought it from there.
Do they sell blue shit there? I mean, is it nautically themed?
I feel like it's got to be. I'm just putting this out there. I'm saying they bought it from Wet Seal.
Okay, I'm with you. I mean, it's kind of the same question I have like about like supervillains. Like when when the penguin is like everyone has to dress like they have to wear like nautical themed clothing. Like, where do those guys go buy their clothes? You know, like,
Ralph Lauren.
I think they probably have like, I think what it is that there's a costume warehouse that they just have to go to, and there's probably an agreement between like the henchmen's union and that's what I think it is in that case. But everybody here went and bought very fancy blue clothing. And then they threw the party in either the sorority house, which would make sense because it's nice and not a shithole like a frat house. But it doesn't make sense because they don't have parties at sorority houses, because that's how you keep the sorority house nice. But if it's not the sorority house, and even if it is, why is there a Dixon St. Clair museum exhibit on the second floor?
That was so weird to me, because it took up like multiple rooms.
It was huge.
Converted into one room. Yes. It was huge.
Yeah. A lot of people in that frat or sorority had to move out when they demolished their bedrooms and turned them into the Dixon St. Clair won awards for most of these things room.
Yeah. And it was such a women against women remark when she was like, most little girls were playing with doll houses. I had these.
Right.
So I've always been a professional working woman and above all of that menial shit.
That's right.
I've got a blazer too, honey.
That's a lot of blazer work in this episode.
A lot of blazer work. I mean, she had the suits, and she's supposed to be maybe what, 20?
Yeah, she's an undergrad. So yeah, 20. You know.
Yeah, which once again, dating. Well, we found out 17 was the legal age of consent in LA at the time.
But still,
I think.
You know.
So weird.
Yeah. And the frat party had high school students invited to it on purpose, which is weird. Like, that doesn't happen. And it was a dry frat party, which also is not a real thing.
No. So, it's like when they tried to say Bloomington was a dry campus.
Who's very silly.
Do you know? You must have. That must have been like my time when they were like, campus, and we went, oh, okay. Because I mean, they also came up with the great shirts that said "Dry Campus" on the front and then "My Ass" on the back.
Yeah. No, it's not. I do remember them saying it was a dry campus because technically, legally, it is, but in practicality, there's hooch in those parties.
There's moonshine,
hooch. Rum run hooch. Yeah. There's something else that happens early in this episode that I want to point out before we talk about why Brandon wants to get Jim fired. And it's the qua. This is not the first time they've said the qua, but I think it's the second, because I noticed it that somebody said it, Brandon probably or Steve, in celebration of something earlier. And
it's gone over my head.
I don't know what it means, but I do know that it comes back in a later episode in a way that I've been quoting for 25 years. And I thought the qua only existed in the Dreams of Dylan McKay episode. But the qua dates back all the way to season 2 with the Pit and the Pendulum. And one other mention before, I probably would have let the first mention slide if this wasn't. Now there is at least 3 times that the qua comes up. I don't know what it means. I think it was some like silly fake talk that like Jason Priestley came up with, or
like most of his talk.
Yeah, that they were just, this was a thing he said maybe, and I don't know the answer to it, but the qua.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
this is so. I must have. heard it as another word, and my brain just rationalized it in the beautiful way that brains do sometimes.
Yeah.
Because this has gone over my head. I've never heard them say the qua, but I believe.
Yeah, it was an aside earlier, but I didn't remember this one or the earlier one either because it's all for this. The qua, the burrito.
Okay, so I think the qua is some mantra he has.
Maybe.
Or some state of being. I have no idea, but
I don't know what it is. Yeah. So which part of that froze your computer, do you think? Do you think it was when I licked my fingertips and smoothed out my eyebrows? Or do you think it was when I did the hand motions and ha-cha-cha-cha?
It was the hand motion.
Yeah. Yep.
You karate chopped the wavelength.
I did. And so did Stephen Brandon in The Dreams of Dylan McKay. So when we get there, you're going to see exactly why I did everything I just did. It's not germane to the plot, but it is maybe my favorite part of an incredibly ridiculous episode. So, yep.
I do love seeing their little interactions building up because, like, they have a really cute moment when Brandon enters the party and he's in red, and I forget what he says, but he looks at Dylan and Dylan does like we're good buddy thing, like kind of fake laughter, like, oh, that was good, man.
Said something about enough blue bloods at the party or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was very much a good cheeseball joke, doofus. I made that book. I liked it.
Yeah.
So, why does Brandon want to get Jim fired? Is it because all of Jim's clients are horrible people? Because, let's think back. First, we got Chick Snyder.
Fuck him.
Running the sweatshop as he does, and Brandon yells at him. In the middle of the living room. Brandon just yells at him. Right.
Yeah, she's mad about it.
Then Jerry Rattinger, who Brandon yells at outside at a beach club, up and down some stairs.
Yeah.
Jerry Rattinger had the higher ground, and yet Brandon did not get turned into Darth Vader.
I was going to say, we all know having the higher ground doesn't lead to something better necessarily.
Not necessarily, but having the lower ground means you lose. And Brandon did not. He yelled at Jerry. Yeah. And then this one, Brandon yells at everybody in the city council meeting. So is Brandon just trying to tell Jim that he's making bad choices? Or should Brandon just stay out of it?
Brandon should just stay out of it. He should just stay out of it because he wants to show the adults that he's better than them, which I think is a kid feeling all around.
It's a very teenage point of view.
I mean, it can go even younger than that, Yeah. I would have little kids try to one-up me on stuff that they knew. And you just have to play it off like it's no big deal.
Right.
So that they learn some maturity.
There was I don't know if it was a t-shirt that my mom had, but it was something that was like, I think it was like one of those, like, hang it in your kitchen, signs. And it was like, don't like something here. Act now, move out, get a job, pay your own bills, do it quick while you still know everything.
Oh God.
It was that kind of thing. Yeah. So this is very much not a Brandon specific issue. This is a teenager issue. Teenagers think they know everything.
Yeah.
And Brandon does have the moral high ground here, in that he is fighting for someone who isn't him. and someone who he does see is getting railroaded, and Nat is getting railroaded, like 100%. Nat's getting jobbed over here, even though it probably is okay for him business wise. Like, shut it down during the recession, bring it back when the economy gets better. Like, maybe that would help Nat, but
as we've said too, Brandon is also the internet, in that he's those people on the internet every time something bad happens tweeting, do something.
Right.
Do what?
Yeah.
Please, you seem to know something that they don't know. So why don't you share your knowledge in, it's so...
It's also this thing where, like, people don't understand shit. And so, have you seen the stuff about Red Lobster going out of business?
Yes.
And bankruptcy and stuff. And how, like, so many people, and this was something that John Oliver ran on last week. But I'd seen little bits of it floating around before I saw his piece on it. But his piece is what it always is. Like, it's funny and concise, and it sort of tells the whole thing in a really easy to understand way.
Yeah.
But so many people were like, well, this is what happens when you do all you can eat shrimp. You go out of business.
That's exactly what he said.
Well, of course, because it's like, that seems like a dumb thing to do. But the reality is the venture capital behind it that bought Red Lobster, and what venture capital does is it buys stuff, props it up long enough to strip it for parts, make a profit, and then let it fuck off into oblivion. And that's exactly what they're doing to Red Lobster. It's, due to our policy of overselling flights, this flight has been oversold. Like, there's not a bug, it's the feature of the product.
This is where I say adults are dumber than kids, because adults figure out a way to overcomplicate shit. Because it really could be as simple as some kids sometimes suggest. It should be that simple. Things are still not always going to be black and white. There will always be gray matter. However, we definitely overcomplicate shit by allowing businesses such as that, and I don't mean Red Lobster, I mean, like you said, the venture capital or whatever, like allowing that kind of thing to exist.
Right. Yeah. Why? There's no reason for that to exist other than to make money for itself. Like, it's it's a real weird thing. But you'll get very confident Brandon Walsh online telling you about the all you can eat shrimp, or even vaguer shit like, thanks Biden. You know what I mean? Like, it's that whole, like, thanks Obama for everything. Like, that's so dumb. Like, that's so, like, okay, there is nothing else. It's just like Joe Biden is like, fuck a Cheddar Bay biscuit. Like, my doctor says I'm not allowed to have them anymore. No one gets them. Like,
I guess so.
It's real dumb.
We were totally going to go to that one in Kingston, New York, but then we realized, he just bought the stuff inside of it. He's not keeping it going.
Yeah. That was really funny.
It was.
And it was, all of that stuff was 100% from inside a Red Lobster, because when they panned past the hostess stand, I went, like,
yeah.
all of it. Like, nope, that's a Red Lobster they're in. They did not recreate that.
I'm pretty sure I've only been in a Red Lobster once.
I like Red Lobster. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, see, exactly. Like, it's fine, much like Applebee's is fine. But do I get angry when I see those businesses in Times Square? Hell yeah, I do. Get the fuck out of Times Square.
Yeah. We need more porn there again. Bring back the porn.
Honestly, just bring back the porn. You know why? Because the people who come to Times Square don't know how to fucking walk like it's New York. Most of the people in New York don't walk like it's New York. This was all a lie. Everything I learned and thought New York was going to be is a lie, people. I get off the train ready to walk, and everyone's just standing there looking at their phones, and I'm filled with anger.
Act like you're in a city.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what What's Her Ass said.
Is it going to be someone horrible?
No, it's like, Fran Lebowitz? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Fran Drescher?
No. Pretend it's a city. Fran Lebowitz. Yeah. It was a documentary series that she did on Netflix. And her thing was exactly the same. She was just, why are you looking at your phone? Look around, walk like there's people around you. Like, pretend you're in a city.
Like, I totally get not knowing where I am because I'm now forcing myself to memorize directions, so that I'm not constantly looking at my phone. But even then, it's like, okay, if you need to look at it, you know what? There's a building right there. Go put your ass against it so you're not blocking my fucking way. I'm done.
Right. I get it. It's frustrating to live around other human beings.
I'm sorry. I hated the pandemic, and yet I'm realizing maybe being around less people was best for me.
Yeah. I'd like it if there was more trees and less people, says Dylan McKay in the middle of a frat party.
I know. I felt Dylan so much in this.
Yeah, he's not much of a joiner.
We see another hint at how they might not work out because she gets so appalled when he's like, "You don't want to go to college?"
Okay, yeah, that is. You know what? I was wrong. There's more than just Jackie being pregnant. They start to have talk about college in this episode. Like, I might pledge this fraternity. You got what it takes, except for the grades. Like if I go to college, I'm not going here. Like all of those things, like this is the first time any of them I think have mentioned college as like conversations, which is right. These are things that juniors in high school are talking about. So it's nice that stuff is starting and those conversations are happening because you're not wrong. And this is not a shock. College and where they're going to go to college plays a big role in senior year of high school, as it does for real people.
Yep.
So we're dialing in on that stuff a little bit.
There's a reason why the summer after graduating high school and going to college, why my group of friends and I, every time we all hung out, we were like, well, this may be the last time. So hugs all around, loves them all. Like, I mean, granted, at that point, we did know we were all going to different places, but like, you do start mentally preparing, and yeah, I don't miss it. I was thinking a minute ago that I did, but no, I don't miss that.
Well, let's go to Nostalgia Corner and see what you do miss. Segue.
Burrito.
The best.
I miss Saturdays going to the mall. Oddly enough, even though there was totally a time when I got dragged to the mall because I don't know why I didn't like it now. I think I was just being a bratty child and like, oh, this is what everyone else wants to do. I don't. I want to be a bum and lay around all day.
Yeah.
But then it started to become exciting when offered things like, well, we could get a cookie.
Right.
Or, when Panera finally hit Mall St. Matthews, well, we could get a Danish.
Oh, Danishes. Yeah.
Shout out to when they had good Danishes. So it was always like Saturday morning. Okay, which mall are we going to? Are we staying in Indiana? Or are we going to Louisville? Oh, but wait, which one? Are we going to go to the one with the Disney store?
Ooh.
Or the one with Limited 2? I
know. They're so far away from one another.
You haven't ridden with my mom. The stress of getting from one to the other, and now the stress of going across the bridge that keeps shutting down and reopening.
Oh, sure.
Is a lot for her.
That bridge is. I haven't felt good about that bridge in a long time. Shout out to the Sherman Minton Bridge.
I love that bridge, and I'm in denial about it.
I don't know. At some point, someone's going to listen to this podcast and go, remember when the Sherman Minton Bridge hadn't fallen into the river? Yeah.
And I mean, we just saw earlier that the Teton Pass had a chunk fall off of it. So like, Please save the Sherman Minton Bridge.
You know who we should call venture capitalists?
Nope.
I bet they can fix it.
They can take all of the broken down Red Lobster materials and put them in places where the cracks are in the bridge.
Yeah, fill it in with Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Fiberglass. How dare you?
I don't know. Those things might be colon spackle. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. So my nostalgia corner is when they opened the new mall, which you were like 2.
Okay.
So you didn't care. But right around this time, in like 1992, they opened a new mall in Clarksville. And I was in high school. The River Falls Mall did not always exist. You're looking at me with a curious
I didn't know
face.
it was called the new mall, but yeah, River Falls Mall.
Yeah, it was the new mall. Like we had the old mall and the new mall, just like how at high school we had the old gym and the new gym. Even though the new gym is now 35 years old, I think it's probably still called the new gym. Nice. I still call it that. But we had a mall, and they built a new mall. And the new mall, I think we've discussed this at some point on the show, but was 2 stories, which is very exciting. Escalators and shit, very exciting. A carousel, a food court, a full 10-screen movie theater, an arcade, and a putt-putt. Yeah. So this thing had it all. Like, you could amuse yourself for an entire evening with your high school friends in this mall. It was awesome. Like, it's what they are pitching High Point Center as in this. Only we didn't have a skating rink or a Ferrari dealership. I'm not even sure we had a coffee shop now that I think about it, because coffee shops weren't really a thing then.
No.
We did have the Texas Roadhouse, and we had a Ruby Tuesdays.
Yes.
But Texas Roadhouse was at the other mall. So in this mall, we had the Ruby Tuesdays down on the main floor, and then all the food court items upstairs. Yes. But it was great, and it was really exciting, and it was like when you watch High Point Center, until you find out it's going to stomp out the Peach Pit, you're like, this place sounds sweet.
Yeah.
I'd be all for going to the High Point Center. Like, no notes. Keep on going, Dixon St. Clair. It's only when you're like, oh, it's going to kill the Peach Pit that I don't like that. But yeah, the new mall opening up was really, really fun, and so I want
to add to that River Falls Mall nostalgia because, of course, we mostly frequented the Bacon's portion of it.
Of course.
And my favorite thing, the saddest thing for me about when that closed, was every Christmas they got out these life-size Christmas figurines that I'm sure would haunt my dreams now, but back then they were beautiful and charming as fuck to me, because they're just Victorian and they're just like, animatronic things moving. And for years now, I've just been like, where did they go? What did they do with them? I miss them.
I bet you they are in the creepiest warehouse you could imagine.
Yeah, and for my mental state, as I'm always trying to improve it, it's best that they stay there.
Yeah, and that you don't go visit.
I shorn't.
Yeah. I'm not sure that's a word, but I like it.
Michael, again, referencing Michael Scott. Should, but I won't. Should, or no, he goes, I would, but I won't. I could, but I can't. I should, but I shorn't.
Nice. I like it.
You're welcome.
Who is your Steve Sanders Memorial worst person of the episode?
I know it's obvious, and yet I also struggled with this one because at the end of the day, Brandon is just a naive teenager.
Right.
I hate to sound like that adult to any teens who may eventually listen. I can't even get millennials. I don't know why I think I'll get Gen Z, but
confidence.
I am confident. But yeah, like
them like Brandon yells at a city council meeting.
Oh, okay. They are a generation of activists.
That's right. Anyway.
But yeah, and so yeah, he's aggravating to me. like most teenagers will be,
Yeah.
aggravating at some point. They're gonna
Mhm.
say some shit. I hear my niece say some shit to my sister all the time, and she's able to just like let it roll off her back. Um, yeah. So again, I know it should be Brandon, but at the end of the day, I think there are a lot of people. I think there are a lot of problematic people in this. I think there are a
Okay.
lot of disappointing people in this, and I'm. This is going to be my first one. I can't choose
Wow. Okay.
because Steve
Um.
says some shit, but it's again he doesn't deserve the award because the
Right.
award is named after him. He's not going to get it all the time. But yeah,
No.
I,
No.
I can't decide on one.
Okay. So it's Brandon
Yeah,
because fucking stay out of it. Like it, I I think I have an allergy to Brandon fixes it episodes.
sure.
Like I just when Brandon tries to fix it, shut up. Like almost across the board every time, shut up. If it's a Brandon fixes it, he's going to end up as the worst person of the episode. Um I will say in defense of choosing Marcy, which is reasonable and a thought I was having, is Marcy is like she's just coattailsing on her dad
Yeah,
and trying to make herself seems like super puffed up and important and like and is telling Brandon how the world works over and over again with the it's not what you know, it's who you know, and you know me, so like you're in, get ready for the gravy train. And then when Brandon takes her to the peach pit and says, this place is getting bulldozed for High Point Center. She's like, oh, you just did this to make me feel bad. Fuck you, Brandon. That's not how the world works. What do you think? I'm just going to go tell my dad? And he's like, well, kinda, yeah, because that's all you've been saying for the last week and a half that
yeah,
I've known you. So, like, she's full of shit. Like, she's out there pretending that having connections matters. But if she's your connection, she's not going to do shit to help you.
yeah.
So, because all she cares about is her and her daddy. And so the case for Marcy is pretty strong. Like
She's a
Brandon gets his head kind of turned around a little bit by a pretty face and an ice rink. But if in his defense, if there's an ice rink at the mall, then maybe the Olympic figure skater comes back.
I was thinking that too. The one that got away.
Yeah, build it and she will come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think that we talked about it.
We did.
All right. So are we gonna go the Walton Goggins route on Friday?
Why not? Let's do it. Because
Right.
to watch a movie that I've been interested in. I just haven't watched it because I'm like, I can wait.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna watch The Hateful Eight, guys. It'll be our second Tarantino dip on the Peach Pot After Dark. So that'll be kind of cool. I haven't seen Hateful Eight in a while, but I liked it. It's basically a one room play, basically.
Yes.
Which is really pretty cool. So join us on Friday for that. And then join us again next week when you're going to find out how Leslie liked meeting Mr. Pony.
Oh God, I'm so
nervous. All right. Is it enough for me to say there's going to be this is about something that's probably going to upset you?
Oh no.
Is that trigger enough without me saying specifically what you're going to be upset about?
So I was going to make sangria today, and I'm definitely going to make sure to make it at some point because I think I'm going to need a strong beverage.
Yeah.
Is there? Oh God. Yeah. Okay. I'm not even going to ask. I'm mentally preparing myself. My brain is going. The rational me in my brain is going. So with a pointer, it could be one of these 10 things that greatly upset you the most.
Yep. And here's why I think that non-specific trigger warnings are great. And I just had this realization because now you're worried about 10 things, right? And when what it actually is happens, you're going to go, oh, well, it's not any of these other 9. I feel way better about that.
That's true. And I hadn't thought about that in my work, where I'm constantly back and forth on like where content warnings are great and where they're not. Like, I think for like smoking or drinking, sure, give that warning if you like, because people are trying to recover from shit.
Sure.
But again, everyone is different. And maybe we make the content warning an optional feature, much like subtitles.
Right. Or we just say, warning, there's content.
True, because at the end of the day, everything, if we haven't learned by now that people will get mad about anything, and it's not just currently, I mean, fucking Winnie the Pooh is a banned book.
Right. Yep.
You know?
Well, that dude don't wear no pants. So.
And he's living his best life.
Yeah. Yeah. He lives in a home under the name of Sanders.
What? Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. I forgot.
Yep. Yeah, Piglet's house has a sign that says Trespassers Will, which is short for his uncle, Trespassers William.
Oh my God.
I love Winnie the Pooh a great deal.
Oh.
Anyway, so join us next week for Meeting Mr. Pony, Cheese Meisters. Until then.
Bye.
Bye.